Hello everyone. So today we are going to be discussing about cell referencing in Microsoft Excel. Now we all need to learn this cell referencing because if we actually want to have a knowledge about Excel, or should I say a basic or advanced knowledge about Excel, we need to understand cell referencing. So, all right, so this course today is going to take us through the step-by-step process in which we can actually understand cell referencing in Excel. All right, so now we have the several types of cell referencing. We have the relative reference, we also have the absolute reference, and the mixed reference. So that's what we are going to be discussing today. All right, so if you are not having a Microsoft Office, or maybe your Microsoft Office is out of date and you need to get a new one, and in fact you do not know how to do that, you can just send me a DM. I'll be dropping my X, which was formerly the Twitter handle, on my description. So you can just send me a message there, then I'm going to assist you on how you can install it for free. All right, so we are going to be discussing about the cell reference in Excel. So without waste of time, let's get started. All right, so we are going to be beginning with the relative reference in Excel. Now, how can we go about the relative reference? We have the year, the revenue, and the expense. So now we want to get the income. Now, first, what we can actually do here is, now we can just put in our equal to sign. Good. Equal to, then we have the B2, sorry, we have the B3 and we have the C3. Now we want to minus this from the B3, minus this. Now we put in our enter. All right, so now when it's actually showing something like this, all you just have to do is to come right up here. Remember, in the introduction to Excel we talked about this. You can just click twice or you move it. So I'm just going to be clicking twice. All right, good. So now this is it. It actually opens it. Now what we can actually do if we want to get for the rest is just to come to this little box here. See this little box here, and you click down. Good. Then it will actually give you all of this. Okay, so now why it's actually having this bracket here is because of this dollar sign. So that's why it's having the bracket. Now this is how we can actually work with the relative reference in Excel. Now if we want to now actually make this more easier, like for instance we're having so many, maybe up to 500 in our columns, and we want to have our relative reference on all of them. This is the shortcut on how we can do just that. Now first you highlight all of your cells. After highlighting it, you put your equal to sign, and then you can simply click on this first, minus this, oh sorry, this minus this. Good. Now before you hit your enter key, all you have to do now is you just click on control, then you can now hit your enter. Now this is it. Now it will now give you the total income for all of the cells. So now this is the shortcut on how we can actually have something like this. Now we are done with the relative reference. Now let's move to the next one, which is the absolute reference. Now this is the absolute reference. Now we are going to see how we can work with the absolute reference. Right, so now how can we now work with the absolute reference? So now this is what we are going to do. We are going to be dividing this by this. Now how do we do that? Put in your equal to, then you can simply click on this, divide. This is your divide sign, and then I will click it on this. Then when I'm done with that, I just click my enter. Now I'm going to do the same thing for all of that by just coming here, click and drag down. Now this is it. So now if we should actually calculate this very well, we're trying to get the percentage of this, we will notice that it is not actually correct. If we are to get this, it's not actually correct. So now how do I mean it's not actually correct? What I wanted to do is getting 85, which is for good, divided by 100, then 65, which is for treasure, divided by 100,
Then same thing with Paul and the rest of that. But instead of that, it is doing otherwise. Now, let me double click here so we can see what it's actually doing. Now, you see this B16 divided by B15. Now, it's dividing this by this. If I should come to this one now, click twice, it's dividing this by this. But instead, I want the number to be B14. Now, each of these divided by the average score. Now, how can we now work on this to actually fix it? All we have to do now is we are going to be locking the number we use for the first one. Now, you just come to your first percent, then double click. Now, this is B14. Now, the B14 is for our average score. So we are going to be locking this B14 so as it's going to affect all of them. So now, how can we lock this? Just simply click on your F4 on your keyboard. Now, when you click on your F4, this is how it's going to be like. This is how it looks like. Now, where you'll be having the dollar sign, the B is in between the dollar sign and the 14 is there. All right. So when we are done with this, just click on enter. And now this is it. We've locked this one. So now let's now apply it to all of this. You can just now come here, click and drag it down. Now it has corrected all of it. So now this is how we can actually work with our absolute reference. Now, finally, let's move to our mixed reference. So we are just going to be multiplying. Now we're going to be multiplying A27 and B25 to get our answer here. Also C25 and A28 to get our answer. All right, so now this is how we're just going to be doing it. Now we'll click on the cell where we want our answer to be. Now this is it where this and this actually meet. So I'll just put it there and put in my equal to. Now after putting in my equal to, I'll click on this and then click on my multiplication sign, which is my shift and number 8. Now this is it. Then I click here and then I hit my enter on my keyboard. Now I've gotten this. So now let's say I want to get for the rest of this. Maybe you could now come here and drag down. Good, you can now actually get something like this. But if you note, the answer is not actually correct. Now, if we're multiplying 30 by 10, it's actually supposed to be giving us 30, but it's giving us 0. Now, that means we need to lock both our columns and our row for us to get this. Now, we are going to see how we can do that. It's very easy. Just follow it step by step. All right, so now how are we going to be doing that? Now, I'm just going to be deleting this, and I'll come here. Now, first, I'll put in my equal to sign. Sorry. Now, after putting in your equal to sign, then I'm going to be clicking on this. Now, when I click on this, it's now time for me to now lock it. All right, so now why am I locking it? I'm locking it so that it can actually be multiplying this same on the rest of the cells. That is for the also the B28, B29, and the rest of that. All right, so now I'm going to be locking out. How do we lock it? By just clicking on F4. Just click on F4 on your keyboard. Sorry, not this. This is it. F4. Good. Now, when you click on F4, it's actually going to be having a dollar sign, then a dollar sign, and 27. No, we are now going to be leaving it at it should be having a dollar sign, then you have A27. Now, click on your F4 again. Good. Then click on it again. Now, this is what we want. We want the dollar sign, then we want A27. Now, why did we choose this particular one? Because if we are to try the other ones, you can also try it. If you have to try it, it's not going to really work. It's not going to work. So we need the dollar sign first, then we need A27. If you cannot actually be doing this long process, if you have it, or if you can just keep remembering it, you could just put in the dollar sign first, then put in your A27. Now it's now time for us to now add our multiplication sign by clicking on your shift and 8. Good. Now we've added it. So now we are now going to be multiplying it by this, which is the B25. Just click on it. Now when you put in the B25, what we want here is now the B, then the dollar sign, then 25. Now how do we do that? It's by locking it. So click on F4, click on it again. Good. Now this is it. So now when you've done this, just know that you've locked both your column and your row for all of this. Then just hit your enter. Now this is it. So now let's try it by coming to this little box here, click and drag down. Good. Now this is it. So now let's do for the rest of this by clicking here and dragging to the end here. Exactly. So now this is just for the mixed reference. Now just follow the step-by-step process. Now you put in your sign first, then you lock it, which is when I mean by putting in not the sign though, but your cell, which is the 27, this one here, the A27. This was what I used here. I put my equal to first, then click on this, I lock it. After locking it, you put in your multiplication sign, and then you click on the next one, and then you also lock that one, then hit your enter. Now, this is how we can actually walk through the mixed reference in Excel. All right, so now basically we just discussed about the three referencing in Microsoft Excel. Now, these are the ways we can actually work with our cell referencing. All right, so this is where we're going to stop for today. So like I said earlier, if you need to update your Microsoft Office or you're not having it at all, you just want to find a way to install for free, do not forget, DM me on my X account, which was formerly the Twitter, and ask for it. Then I'm going to show you on how you can actually download it for free. All right, so we're going to stop here for today. Do not forget, continue to hit that subscribe button, share this video, and drop a comment in the comment section below. All right, so see you guys now next class, and stay safe. Bye.